Hello everybody out there, I'm Chris.
Mike.
And welcome back to another indie comic book review. Guys, we got lots of books this week. Well, actually, that's actually
average.
An average week. Not too many, not too little. Perfect week. Unfortunately, we might as well start calling the Indie Review Mike Show because I've got two physical books and one book that we're going to do that wasn't released this week, and that's it.
I know
the rest of the books are all Mike's. Well, I did want to read Ninjak, one of the books, and I did skim through it.
Yeah, but there are some that we do share from time to time.
So anyway, the books that were released in this episode were released on the date of
March 11, 2015. However,
we have two books still that were not released the month of March. The month of March on the day of the 11th in 2015. The first one is Nightmare World Volume 1. This is
chapters 12 and 13. The final chapters to Volume 1. And
so this is the grand conclusion of Volume 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's by Dirk Manning, as always. And the first story is called A Small Victory. And basically in A Small Victory, there are these two guys that mess with a housekeeping maid who catches a sniper who is actually out to kill someone who claimingly killed his son, and he has like this long story about how it happened and why it happened and his reason to do it. So the maid says, yeah, might as well do it. And on the news, she finds out that it was actually something else. It was like a big twist. I don't want to spoil it because I want you guys to definitely check that out. But it was really something. So, and the artwork was pretty good as well in the story. So, that was really some messed up stuff there, in a good way. And chapter 13 is called Violet, the last chapter of Nightmare World Volume 1.
Oh, I like this artwork a lot better.
Yeah, that artwork's very nice. And basically, it's this guy who said, you know, Violet, I know it's been so long and everything, but I just want to tell you something. But before he did, she was talking about how she was in this depression after he's gone away for so many years. And she was actually engaged to this guy who she met in Paris. I believe his name was Mike, to be honest. Which is kind of weird, actually. But then he was saying how much he really loved her and all that stuff about how he really felt. But the thing is, I tried to get the end where he actually was talking to death and everything. With the whole, I don't know if it was like a thing where he wanted...
He's dead already. Oh, I see the twist.
It was that, right? I thought it was that, but I wasn't too sure if I was right. So yeah, so basically...
Wow, that's an awesome twist.
That was an awesome twist. So, Nightmare World Volume 1, guys, all together, 5 out of 5. Definitely get the trade paperback. It is worth the money. Dirk Manning did an amazing job, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading Volume 2 of Nightmare World.
And you can look forward to Mike's full review of Volume 1, probably on Comic Frontline, Comic Book Corner at some point.
Yes.
Alright, so now we are in Tales of Mystery, Volume 1. This is Chapter 8, I believe, right?
Chapter 8? No, we're on Chapter 5.
5?
Chapter 5, yeah.
Make triple sure real quick, because I don't want to be wrong. I'm bad with memorizing them
I think
chapter
it is
numbers.
Chapter 5.
6. We're both wrong. We are both wrong. We're in the middle. Chapter 6. So, in the last chapter, Mr. Ree's friend ended up dying and warning him that somebody is out to get him and burn. He basically wants to burn Mr. Ree's friends to the ground. He wants to destroy his life. So anyway, the book opens up actually with the kid from the very first chapter, Jonathan. He goes to Mr. Ree's house and delivers a message. And Mr. Ree finds out that the person who is going to destroy Mr. Ree is Jack Faust from the first chapter. And he goes back to his master. And I don't know if he was as uncomfortable as I was reading this, but you get this very touchy-feely, touchy-feely impression from the wizard that trained Mr. Ree. And it turns out that I'm not going to give the long dialogue, but we get a lot of background on why he went to the wizard, why he left the wizard. It turns out that the wizard wanted Mr. Ree as a partner.
Right.
In love.
Oh.
Right.
I didn't know you meant it like that.
And Mr. Ree didn't swing that way, so he left. And now he's back because he's in trouble, because something's going on with Jack Faust, and he explains the whole situation to the wizard. And there's a little twist. He thinks that Faust is actually now the host to the demon that's been chasing him since the very beginning, since he first summoned a demon to try to help his mom way back when. And the wizard says he can help him, but he has to swear to stay with the wizard and never leave him again. And let's just say that doesn't go so well. And he realizes that basically he's on his own. He's going to take his chances on his own, and that's where he leaves the wizard. So
whoa,
this was an awesome chapter. So we now know that it's Jack Faust, and he's obviously possessed by the demon that's been chasing Mr. Reese since he was a kid, and he lost his friend. His mentor and master actually turns out to be a sick, twisted pervert, and he's not willing to help Mr. Reese. So now he's on his own to deal with what's coming.
Isn't that the whole purpose of the story, about just him working by himself on the whole?
Yeah, but he needed help. He realized that he was in a little bit over his head, and it turned out that the one person that can help him is a dirtbag.
Wow.
I love this chapter. I like how we're getting little bits and pieces of the past and people that are close to Mr. Reed that we don't know about, showing up chapters later. I'm really liking this book. I'm loving the artwork. I love the black and white instead of color. It would be awesome if they ever did redo this trade paperback. If they did it in color, that'd be awesome. But it's great in black and white as well. The story is definitely catching. I cannot wait for the next chapter. Some awesome stuff going on in Tales of Mystery Volume 1. I love it, and I'm about halfway through the book. Yeah, chapter 6 is halfway, and I'm loving it. I would definitely recommend it. Can't wait to do the next chapter next week. And don't forget, guys, Carmageddon just finished. If you supported the Kickstarter, the trade paperbacks actually should be coming out this month sometime. So I'm excited for that. And I'm definitely excited. Hopefully by the time New York Comic Con Special Edition comes around, I'll have finished Volume 1, and I'll definitely have something to discuss with Mr. Dirk Manning the next time we see him at a convention. So, now let's go into this month's books, or this week's books.
Of March 11, 2015.
And we're starting with
Comics, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 270. This is the number 3 of 4, or part 3 of 4 of Champions. And I love the variant cover you chose, by the way. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm good at doing that.
Yeah. So, it starts off where we are getting into now the next round of people. We have Bean, who's going up against, how do I keep forgetting his name? Some leader of the hooligans, and he actually wins. It's bothering me now. I can't remember his name. But I really like the artwork, though. It's really, Knack, that's his name. Show you guys some artwork, and he won that round. And it's classically drawn, actually. And then afterwards we have Knuckles versus Amy, and boy, oh boy, that was interesting. And it was obvious Knuckles won that one. So now it'll be Knuckles versus Knack in the next one, and the winner of that will face either Sonic or Honey. And Sonic actually won that one, and that was actually a close fight there. And remember, this is all for the Chaos Emerald. So Knuckles versus Knack was a 1-2-3 knockout. Like, he just beat the snot out of Knack. So Knuckles advances. And just like I called it, in the end, it is Sonic versus Knuckles. But it may be some interruption at the end. And we all know it's with Dr. Eggman and all the other things with Metal Sonic and yada yada. So I called it was going to be Sonic versus Knuckles. I mean, we all probably knew that, because that's going to be really something to see next issue. This is really just 5 out of 5, and I'm enjoying this, and I can't wait to see the conclusion to Champions and reviewing that on Kitty Corner's Comic Frontline. Image Comics, The Walking Dead, issue number 138. Things are getting very, very heated up here, and I'm talking about more on Carl, actually. Like, it opens up where Carl and Lydia are talking to each other, and she tells them that she doesn't want to go back to her group because of what they did to her and everything. But the owner of the group with the walkers, or actually her mother actually, comes to get her daughter back to the group. And Carl wasn't so happy about it. He's like saying, you know, you can't let her go like that because she said she doesn't want to, but she willingly just goes. Like, as if she didn't tell Carl the whole truth and everything. And Carl's very upset about it, you know, after the whole thing of what happened. And what does it look like Carl's going to do? Well, looks like he's going to go out on the adventure to go get Lydia back into the group. And it's kind of related to the trade thing that happened in the Walking Dead TV series about the hospital scene that happened about, maybe at the halfway point into the season finale. And that was, like, really something, but this is really good.
Alright, guys, give us just 1 second, and we will be right back. Yeah, there's something really quick. And we'll be right back at the click of a button. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Some stuff had to happen off camera. And now we're back to the physicals.
Yes, and we're going into Xenoscope, Grimm Tales of Terror, issue number 9. And in this issue, it talks about, I think, Nurse with the Hook, I think it's called. Oh, Killer Hook, yeah, basically.
Hey, there's some really nice covers for the Grimm Tales of Terror.
Yep, and what it basically is, it's about these two people who are in the middle of nowhere, but it's actually somewhere in Arizona. And these two people, actually this guy goes to get something in the store. Show you guys some artwork, which is drawn really excellently. And in the store is a creepy guy who goes in with probably a hook for something and kills this guy, and the woman is terrified. And she tries to go to the cop's car to say something happened there, where this guy is stalking her. And when the police came to save her, well, let's just say that he wore the hook also, and the guy was from the beginning story, did some to the boss's 6-year-old daughter.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either, but wow. The story, every time I read this, I really look forward to seeing what stories they'll come up with next. This was just horrifying stuff, but in an awesome way. Xenoscope just does that with Grimm Tales of Terror. Next is your book.
Grimm Fairy Tales, issue number 108. This was an excellent book. In the last issue, Ali and Sky accidentally summoned the Mad Hatter spirit. And this issue concludes that. So you got the Mad Hatter spirit floating around the school and ends up possessing one of the, what are they called? The card people. Shank said at the end of the issue, one of the card soldiers. They're called card soldiers, apparently. Oh. You also get Ali talking with Haley's mother. It turns out he can talk with spirits, and he goes to Haley and he tells her that, I wanted to bring my mother back, but really thinking back, I just wanted a chance to say goodbye. I'm giving you your chance now. And there's a really, really heartfelt moment between Haley and her mother, which I love that here. And Sky actually catches Ali walking with Haley alone. She's starting to question, why is he walking with Haley alone? Because Sky has a thing for Ali. Ali has a thing for Sky. And she doesn't know what's going on. But anyway, then they get attacked by the card soldier that's possessed by the Mad Hatter. Now, also, I forgot how to pronounce her name. Kyrie? It starts with a K.
Carrie? K-I-E-R-A? Yes.
Carrie. Kara, who's basically lost all of her memory, and she also possesses the Phoenix, and Sela ends up bringing her back to Arcane Acre until she can regain her memory and, get back into shape. So she becomes one of the students of the school, basically. So they all get attacked by the card soldier possessed by the Mad Hatter, and it's the Phoenix and Haley who actually end up breaking the spell. Well, the card soldier actually causes a... Well, no, I was right. Haley ends up burning the book, and... Not Haley. The Phoenix ends up... I love how I'm doing this. The Phoenix ends up burning the book, and Haley ends up dousing the fires with her water powers. and it leaves all the teachers scratching their heads wondering what the heck goes on. I love how Shang just figures out what's going on at the snap of a finger. And then you get a little setup for the next issue, which involves Wolf. So Wolf might actually be coming back to the school very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I like Wolf as a character, and I definitely was sad when he left the school. But you had to know deep down he was coming back. All in all, I left out a bunch of stuff, confused a bunch of names, and this is definitely a book worth reading.
Yeah, not dropping.
This is an excellent read this week. I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it.
All right.
Without dropping it or mixing up names.
Phoenix
Burns, Haley West.
As in, like, making it look full, yeah. Wonderland issue number 33. And I believe this is a new story arc, but it was kind of a little bit all over the place. Like, that's how I felt. Like, it started off with, like, this whole thing with, you know, like, these, like, it was like a monsterish battle that happened in the Wonderland Spineweb flats and everything. And then we get the White Queen with
Cheshire
Cat, yeah. That are looking for the antipathies. I think that's how you say the name. And the artwork's really good. I have to say that. So they're looking for them because of some stuff that's been going on in the past issues. We get the Rabbit, who actually is making a very interesting appearance in this book, and is trying to you know, to let stuff get into shape about the antipathies and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to give too much away in the book. And the White Queen actually finds these three ladies who actually might give her some answers to the antipartides, as well as to where she would have to look in some sort of way. So there is a well that's at the end that may lead to all the answers that Callie might be looking for in this issue. So there may be lots of stuff, but I just felt that they went, like, in some directions, like to this one and that one and that one. Like, I saw that to be a little bit confusing, but all in all, I thought this was a pretty good issue in all for that. So definitely pick it up if you're reading Wonderland, such as myself. And the next book is yours.
This book definitely earns Book of the Week for the indies, at least. I still have to finish some of the big two books, which is why this review is a day late, and the other review is going to be tomorrow instead of tonight, and it being a double header. But Spawn Resurrection one shot. The last book I know was on the least favorite book list for almost everybody on Comic Frontline. A lot of dialogue, a lot of BS, and it all led up to the inevitable Al Simmons returning, and we all saw it coming. Paid about $4 or $5 for the book, and really it was just a bunch of dialogue. It was very dialogue heavy, and the last page was the page that we paid so much money to see. This, however, was just a $2.99 book. It's a one-shot basically giving Al's side up until the previous Spawn issue. I thought this was going to be a miniseries. It turns out it's a one-shot. One thing I have to say is it is very dialogue heavy, and it's not really Al's fault as much as it is the dog's fault. Alright, let's start from the beginning. First of all, I love the artwork, and I will be showing more artwork as time goes on. So basically, Al Simmons is in limbo. He killed himself to take himself out of the game completely because he wasn't making a difference in his eyes. So God, in the form, believe it or not, it's God, in the form of a dog, or at least that's what we're led to believe it's God, he comes to Al and says he's in limbo, so God has no real power there, and neither does the devil, no one. It's just basically Al's solitude. And God reaches out to Al, and he gives him the whole rundown about why he created humanity, how the universe was too perfect, he needed some flaws. This was a super heavy dialogue page where God is explaining how tons of conflicts going on. And Al just isn't buying it. He just doesn't want to be bothered. He's like, none of this shit matters. I don't care. I did what needed to be done. I want to be left alone, yada yada. And then he's like, I need to show you in a way you'll understand. He shows Al as a kid, then when Al got married, then when Al and Wanda were going to have a baby, and then the loss of the baby, and then it's basically he gives
rundown of his life.
Yeah, a recap up until he became Spawn. And then, of course, the eminent, him taking himself out of the equation. And God swore he was going to leave humanity alone. He wasn't going to involve himself. However, in doing that, rogue angels and demons ended up fighting for supremacy over the earth. And God did interfere once and caused a major flood, which flooded out most of the demons and rogue angels, but some survived. And he's still saying, this doesn't involve me. Why are you? What's the point? And then he takes him to, I believe it was only a couple of days ago or 2 days ago. He takes him to a riot that's going on 2 days ago, and the biggest revelation happens here. And for those of you Spawn fans like myself, you know that Al came back as Spawn so that he could be with Wanda or see Wanda one last time. Well, here's a huge spoiler alert, guys. Wanda ends up dying. And it's because Al wasn't there and God wasn't there. And Al is blaming God, but God's not saying no. He's like, yes, I wasn't there, but neither were you. We were both absent, and we're both needed, and you're needed. And then here's a little bit of a deeper spoiler. Wanda actually is not in heaven. She actually went to hell because it turns out Al's unborn child was taken to hell. So she went to go find the unborn child, and the only one that could save them, guess who, is Al. So God says, I swore I'd never interfere, but I was wrong. Where was it? Because I can't interfere, but I can't afford not to anymore. And Spawn's like, I don't need your help. He's like, yes, you do. And that's when he gives him the sword, which we saw at the end of the last Spawn issue, and says, don't come back. Don't be my champion. He basically gives him the sword and says, it's up to you what you want to do. Sadly, humans don't always make the right decisions, but apparently Spawn did. He's like, don't go back as my champion, as God's champion, like when he went back as Malbolge's champion. Go back as the people's champion and be great, be strong, and be Spawn.
Be great.
So basically, Al goes back because he wants to go save Wanda now from hell, and basically save the world and be the champion of the people. And obviously that's where we get the new Spawn suit, the sword. It's all explained here. This was heavy dialogue. God talked a lot in this book. A whole lot. And for those of you who aren't fans of Spawn, who haven't, read much of Spawn, who haven't been into Spawn, who never really could get into Spawn, you're not going to like this book. This is going to be your least favorite book of the week. And I'm sure when we do the live show on Tuesday, this is going to be a lot of people's bottom pick, or not even bottom pick, just not a pick at all. For me, I've read the first 98 issues of Spawn, plus issue 100. I think it was 97. And then issue 100, I missed 98 and 99. Eventually, I'll get those two to complete the whole first 100 issue run. But for those of you like myself that like Spawn, that enjoyed reading Spawn, even though I read it later on in life, this was a really hefty issue. It involved Wanda, it involved Al, and it involved finally God interfering and saying, look, we need Spawn. Spawn is needed on Earth. And he even mentioned that in his absence, Jim Downing actually was cursed with the Spawn, and he had no idea what he was getting himself into, and he was suffering through, being Spawn, and he failed. Al is needed. The world needs Al as Spawn, and that's what brought Spawn back. So I guess the whole Image United thing, even though he was the anti-whatever he was, I don't even know what the hell they made Al in the Image United series, but that's not coming back anytime soon, if at all. So Al is now back as Spawn. Spawn is back to being Spawn finally. So I will definitely be back for the next physical copy of Spawn. I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good. And lots of promise for future issues. Really looking forward to the creative team coming on as well. Because it's going to be great. I can't wait for the next issue. But like I said, you don't like Spawn, you're not going to like this issue. Lots of dialogue, but God really, there was a lot that God said that is very important, I feel, to this story and future story arcs to come after the return of Spawn. So now we're going into the digital books. I talked enough. I only had one book left. So now it's all Michael for the rest of the show.
Yep.
Big Trouble in Little China, issue number 10.
Yes, issue number 9, actually. It's right
9.
Here. 9, yeah. And in this one, Jack and Lopan, I didn't say Emperor Ming this time, Lopan, are in hell, and he's basically telling Jack, you know, I brought your spirit to hell, and you cannot escape because it's inescapable and everything. So Jack is just trying to say, so what do we do from here? And they're just running from their lives against these demons who are attacking them. Meanwhile, his friends are trying to find out how they could bring him back to life because of what he did. So they go to this guy right here. I can't remember the name. His name. Like he basically knows about the spirits to bring them back and stuff like that. So he was telling them that there's no way that I can bring him back because his spirit has not been put to rest, and his spirit has actually been taken away from Lopan from hell that's inescapable, which we find out more in depth about why it's inescapable. So Lopan talks to the master of hell, like saying, I could do something for you if you do something for me. I could find you this certain type of demon, like, and I don't remember what the name was. And he says, well, if you're looking for him, you know, it's Jack right next to him. So, of course, that's not the real truth. Lopan just wanted to escape just to cause more chaotic hell on the planet. And now the master just said, you know, so, what was it? A martyrer, which is like a demon-like sort of person. So, Jack got a lot up his hand and all tied up. And hopefully there'll be some way he escapes it, which I'm for sure. This one I thought was really interesting.
It's a miniseries. Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return, issue 1 of 6.
And basically, these two guys...
This is a Keanu Reeves movie. You remember Bill and Ted, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. And they're rock and roll people who are making music for themselves. And they're trying to find out, you know, what their next song is going to be. And the only way to find out how their life turns out with their song is to go forward in time into the future. So they go into the future of 2600 and something from 1991. Also, they have two robots of themselves, I forgot to mention also. So they use that to go to the future in the phone booth, which I thought was really hilarious, just to find out, you know, what their next song will be, so that way they don't, you know, put their heads with music block. So the guy who comes there actually helps them out with going in time to where, you know, they were big and everything. And when they go into the future, they find out that their apartment turned into a museum or something. And I just can't remember the names. It's just so...
Bill and Ted?
No, not Bill and Ted, like their last name. Can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So basically, in the next issue of what's going to happen is that their friend over there, or so-called friend, who was sent to his own time, is there also. The second story, I wasn't too crazy about the artwork.
Looks a lot.
It just talks about, like, these two robot guys, you know, about, just really about the robots and everything, of how, like, they didn't know that they were real, like how it was in our future of 2015, like just saying how and why robots are everywhere. It was just like, just about them, really, as an origin story. So you could definitely get that. I just wasn't crazy about, like I just said before, the artwork.
Alright, next we got Escape from New York, issue number 4.
Yeah, and in this one, Snake really leads into... First of all, this was a great story, actually. He has Mimo's army, who's this big, gigantic gorilla woman, so to say, to go up against these two kids and her, because the two kids want to take over the United States, whereas Snake, he doesn't care whether the United States are taken over or any other world's taken over. He just wants to do it for himself. So he goes up against them, and then it turns out to be Snake versus Mimo in like this big, huge, gigantic brawl fight after the whole detonation thing happened in the United States and this other state. And it was brutal, let me tell you. And Snake, I don't know how he did it, but I give the man credit. He took her down, and she was big and gigantic. And since she was knocked out, the two kids went back home to their regular mother and father just to start anew, rather than becoming these two people who want to take over the world and everything. But Snake, however, is in a little bit of a thing where he falls down, but it's not going to be in water. It's going to be in hard ground. And I believe he's going to Siberia in the next issue. So it went from Florida to now going to Siberia. So this is really interesting. I like how it's really turning out, but his strategies of just winning that, that's just amazing. I applaud Snake for that.
King Dynamite, Flash Gordon, issue number 2.
Yes. And in issue number 2, it talks about Flash and his two friends who are trying to escape from where they are. And Emperor Ming is in this issue also. But there's like 2 types of Emperor Ming, so to say. It's like a big, huge, long story of that happening.
Lots of dialogue.
Yeah, there is lots of dialogue. I try to get as much information as I can. But it was really about Emperor Ming, how the 2 of them of the same were on the planet that they were on, because they go to their ship in the end. They find the ship to escape from there, just to go back on their journey to get the powers, so that way Ming doesn't take them all. And it winds up that Flash goes into space, but there's a little bit of a crash landing where they land into like this middle of nowhere in the ocean. And Flash, I don't know why I thought Nick. Flash actually finds something underwater, and we don't know what it is because it left us off there to be continued. So it can't be the ship probably, because the ship just went underwater. So maybe it's something related to it. I don't know. But curiosity is really killing the cat, because I want to find out what's the thing Flash found in the middle of the water. So really interesting ending. Just find out what's going to be in the next issue.
Alright, next we got X Volume 2, issue number 23.
Yes. And it's called Reclaiming the Ruins, I believe. And in this one, we get more of X going against this lady that we saw in issues back. I can't remember. But he leaves Lei, who is his sidekick, because I try to remember her name all the time I did this issue, so I just remembered it. And he just goes up against these guys that have like the blood from their eyes and stuff like that, because of all the stuff that's been happening around in the city. So he's looking for go up a little bit. He was looking for someone. Like he was looking for something. I can't really remember. Like he had this objective to find something. I can't remember. But anyway, it was just something that he's looking for from other issues, actually. And what he wants to do to try to find it is that these people are in his way and everything. And then we get into this fight that the woman was, I think her name was Mally or something like that.
It's the girl from previous issues.
Yeah, it's the girl from previous issues with the skin. And he's like just saying, you know, you did this to me and everything. So he's trying to tell her that it wasn't him because of all the stuff that's been happening. So then we get a little bit of an origin story about how he lost his eye and how it's a reminder of his punishment, which is why he doesn't want to get rid of it because of the bullet that was in his eye. So it kind of gives him a reminder of his character, which I thought was really interesting in the issue. So at that point, he gets just in this big, huge, chaotic fight, and it's just all over the place. It's to be concluded in the next issue of the story arc. So
he's always ending up getting his ass handed.
He is, but you know, I just can't remember the whole thing because it was long dialogue.
I feel like with this, we haven't seen this book in a while. IDW Ragnarok issue number 4. I feel like it's been a while since we talked Ragnarok.
Yeah, because I was looking at him like saying Ragnarok, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that woman who went out on a journey to find some energy of some war. But it was more focused on her just going on her journey and just kicking butt like no other, including with that hammer and everything. And she's just trying to bring the trolls together because she's in Troll Village to help her out with this war that's going to happen. And she needs courage.
You sure it's a she? I still to this day think it's a he.
Well, the guy who is actually looking for her is Ragnarok, and then he's just going into Troll Village saying, you know, I know you're lying to me because I know she was here. So one of the villagers announced that she was there, but they didn't want them to say anything because of consequences, so they had to keep on the low of that, but one actually told them. So after everything was in Troll Village of trying to get the team together to help out with this war and chaos that's going on, you know, none of them has been serving her or just doing that in some sort of way. So she's trying to keep them in a stronger state so that way they can help. And it was just this whole other thing that happened afterwards where she just went from this other village of dwarves, I believe. To look for also Drudger. And we're going to find out more about Drudger in the next issue, because that's the main point of who she's looking for. So that's really the best I can give of Ragnarok, because like Chris said, we haven't seen this story in a while, so, you know. But this one was really interesting. Unity issue number 16. And in Unity we go into more of the adventures of Gilad, who actually we get more of, you know, what he's doing with this whole thing in Unity. Like, there's like all these tribes that are coming into the village.
It's like a flashback.
It does look a little bit like a flashback, but it's more along lines of, you know, how he was stronger then to fight off against these tribes and everything. And people didn't see him as a hero. They saw him as a danger to their town and everything. And there was this woman that he was talking to that he really had a crush on. And I was talking to him about what was going on. I believe she was killed in this issue. I'm not really too sure, because I remember reading this story, and it was like really, really like a good story. Like she taught him how to use the sword to be like a samurai-like, because this was all in Japan, so to say. So it was like Tomo, thank you. So it was like a Japanese coach that Tomo was actually teaching him, and telling him about you know, like all, like Gilad told his story a little bit about yeah, it was Tomo, yeah, how this woman who he fell in love with, Tomo, actually went to this war, and she lost, and there was an amulet that he gave Gilad, which he actually passed on to this little girl to remind him about how much Tomo meant to him. So that was really a heartfelt story, and I really just Valiant brings out more of these amazing comics that are really awesome.
And we've reached 28 minutes this time, so guys, give us just 1 second. We have one book left.
One book.
Give us just 1 second and we'll get to our last book. Okay, and we're back, and we are at the last book, which I started, but Michael finished, so he's doing the review for Ninjak issue number 1. Love the covers, love the artwork in this book, and
it's just an origin story.
Really good.
Ninjak, of how he actually became a ninja in sort of way, but it actually was starting off at the Marine, so to say, setting, and there was this woman. What was her name?
Roku,
thank you. It was more focused on Roku, about you know, like he had to save Roku from you know, what was going on, and she really didn't want to save him, but with using his ninja skills, he actually successfully did so by taking her out of where she was, and then trying to put sense in her where she was. So it kept going back and forth, also like the then of Ninjak, and then how it related to now. And there was like this mission that, well, his real name wasn't Ninjak. There was actually a name that this guy wanted him to go under, some other name. What was it? Well, it was to look for this guy named Omen, like right there. Yeah, and he had to go under the name of someone else just so that way he wouldn't know that he's Ninjak. Because they know his real name and all that other stuff. So he just had to do it under another name to get more information about Omen, what he does and everything. Because he was... it was said more in the book, so you'll have to definitely read the book to find out more about his character and why Ninjak was going after him. But things don't look so well in the last page of the book, because there's something that maybe Ninjak may find out either the easy way or the hard way in some sense. But I'll tell you, these missions that he's going to go on, it's going to be something. Then there was a second story. I really didn't get the
this
chance
is definitely
to read
not
it.
something I would have read.
Yeah, it was nothing really...
I'm not a fan of the artwork.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the artwork. It was just like, okay, what was the point of being a Ninjak? I mean, I don't know if it was connected to it or something, or if it was a different story. Cause
It says 10 years ago.
Yeah, so basically...
The Lost Files. It's a secondary story.
Oh, yeah, so probably that's why I was like, okay. I didn't read the whole thing. I was just looking, I'm like, this has nothing to do with Ninjak, so I just looked over
Probably a bonus story. A lot of times secondary stories don't really cut it as much as the original.
Which is why I didn't bother reading it, but yeah.
So,
really, really great issue, though.
So with that, that's it for this indie review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out Comic-Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, Frontline Gaming Zone. Together we get #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Feel free to comment below your thoughts, likes, dislikes, comments, recommendations, agree or disagree with us, and we will get to your comments in the comment section below.
Yep.
And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting. We'll see you guys, hopefully tomorrow, in the next review.
Later, everybody.